No code is a lie, and you will be left behind if you have fallen for the marketing strategies of the thousands of AI companies that are coming out that are making you believe this. The issue with no code is that not only are you reducing your intellect, your skill set, and your critical thinking skills, and you're willfully dumbing yourself down, you are now becoming a consumer of all of the other companies that are going to come out to make sure that you become their consumer. So to kind of explain the point, I want to show you guys this quote by Sam Altman from OpenAI. So he was at a recent conference, and I'll link the full video in the description. So he was asked, what do students need to study to survive in the age of artificial intelligence? And he answered, it's not a question of survival. You're about to enter the greatest golden age of human possibility. Technological development, economic growth. I think it's going to be quite fantastic to thrive in that world. I think the skills that matter are deep familiarity with the tools, staying abreast of changes, and just working with them very closely to develop a great intuition for where things are going and how to make use of it. Resilience, ability to learn new things fast and adapt to them and sort of evolve yourself with the technology. Most people would look at this quote and say, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, right? It sounds hopeful and it sounds like it's going to be an interesting future with so many opportunities. All right, well, let's take a closer look at a few of these statements. Right here where it says the greatest golden age of human possibility. Exactly what humans are we talking about? Because majority of individuals, I guarantee you, cannot afford what it actually takes to run most AI software. Most of the software cannot currently be used on mobile phones now. Do I think it's going to get there? I do. That's for another video. We'll talk about that later. Most people don't have desktops. They don't have the software to even be able to run most of the AI tools that are currently available to the public. Go ahead and try to purchase some NVIDIA tech and tell me how many people can afford that. It's not going to happen. Economic growth. Who's going to make the most money? The people who already have the knowledge, who have the tools, and the tech, which is what not majority of the people on this planet. I think the skills that matter are deep familiarity with the tools. How are you going to have familiarity with the tools if you cannot afford them? If you're not trained in tech, if you don't understand the words in tech, if you don't even have a tutor that's going to teach you. Now, of course, on YouTube, there are many amazing people who are creating tutorials for the use of tech. But guess what? Majority of people still cannot afford it. And I'm not even talking about, oh, they can't afford desktops. Many people can't even afford the subscriptions to even use the tools, to even get familiar with them. So I'm just annoyed already. To develop a great intuition for where things are going. Most people don't even understand laws, policies, and regulations. They have no idea how to even conceptualize a process, to even develop the intuition to understand how things are going to go or how to make use of it. This is, it infuriates me. It really does. Because if we even look at our educational system, most schools don't even have books for every student. Most schools don't even have current laptops. They don't have the technology for students. So you know the students that are going to get left behind first? Low-income student. Then we're going to go to the middle class and everybody's like, oh, they should be all right. No, it makes me angry that so many people are now pushing this idea of, oh yeah, like no code is going to save you. It's not. It's going to get you left behind. And the truth is, you're going to have to start looking out for yourself. You have to start educating yourself. You have to start making sure that you place yourself in the right pathway to be able to keep up. Because our educational system is not going to have the infrastructure to try to raise every school system to the level that it needs to at the speed that it needs to. Especially because women are going to be the most affected by this because we are not in as many fields of STEM. And if you don't know what STEM is, it's an acronym that stands for science, tech, engineering, mathematics. So before we even speak of the educational system, That means that our educators have to be trained in the system of AI in order to then teach the students. Do you know how many women, which are the majority of educators, are trained in the field of STEM when it comes to AI? Not many. How do you think that the school system is going to be able to keep up? It's not. So this right here is a fallacy of delusion that frustrates me, because we do have to restructure our educational system, because millions of people are going to be left behind because there are not enough financial resources to even have the tools to study on your own time. I mean, if you don't even have a book to read, how are you going to keep up with AI if you don't even have the proper desktop to run the software, even if you had a tutorial for free on YouTube? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Now, the other thing that I also hate is a lot of entrepreneurs, especially now, that are promoting that, oh yeah, you don't need to know how to code. I'm just gonna take a deep breath, because they have no idea what they're talking about. And if you're following an entrepreneur that's telling you that garbage, and they're telling you, oh yeah, you can just do this forever, you're never gonna be a market leader. You're gonna get left behind. And why is that? Because most of the tools that you need, that you think you're waiting for in the future, they already exist. Maybe if you looked in the developer section, for example, of every single social media platform, you would see that the tools already exist. But because you don't know how to code, and you don't even know the proper terminology to even hire somebody to help you with your problem, you can't even hire the right developer. And then you wonder why you're getting taken and paying thousands of dollars and not even getting the results that you want. So no, you need to learn how to code. You need to understand how to properly use technology in your business. You can't just be in la la land wondering, oh, I don't know, maybe in the future somebody's going to make a point and click tool. Then you're never going to be a market leader, because you're always waiting for the next person to create the tool to develop the future that you want for yourself. That means that you're dependent. Once everything hits the fan, and trust me, it's going to, because there's going to be issues with job loss, there's going to be issues with trying to transition, and this is going to affect women. And this is why I have to put it so harshly, because I need for you guys to get it through your head that this is not going to be a good situation, especially for women, once again. So please, make sure that even if you don't know how to code, you start maybe hiring someone or training someone, or at least educating yourself with the vocabulary, so that you can connect with someone that will give you the right information. But to think that somehow you're going to make it just with point and click tools, it's not going to happen. I'm going to put it very plainly. Imagine this. Let's do a scenario. Let's say this recession occurs, and then we have thousands and thousands, dare I say millions, of job losses due to AI. Now you're going to be in the system competing against individuals who are trained for maybe 10 to 20 years. They have 4 degrees. They know how to code with every software language. And you think that no code is going to allow you to compete with them? You actually believe that somebody is going to hire you over them? You think that somehow they're not going to be able to surpass you, right? Because so many people are stuck on social media and they think, oh, it's just you against you. Look, there are 2 types of competition. Yes, there is an internal competition when you have to become your best self, and then there's the real world. That when you're competing against somebody who has 100 times the skill sets that you do, it's going to be an issue, and you have to be prepared for it. This is the purpose of this video, to break the delusion of comfort, of saying this is so easy. I've been in the marketing industry over 24 years. I lost count now. I've seen so many sites up and down, up and down. Every single time we have an advancement in tech, you see entire industries wiped out. So I want you guys to be prepared. So what is the solution? Let's say you don't have the money to hire anybody. You're not good at math, science, or tech. Okay. Then this is what I recommend. I need for you to start studying. If you are going to use no code, man, you need to implement such a strict business funnel. I mean, you need to optimize right now every single aspect of your business to automation. Because the only way that you can typically try to surpass the competition is with perfection. And I know people hate that word as well. But you're going to have to be able to do it either with volume of work, perfection of the quality of work that you're putting out, and you need to have things automated so that you can do more than the person that you're competing with. That's the primary solution. Is it going to be useful for a long time? Depends on how you innovate yourself. Depends on how you try to innovate the things that you're selling or you're providing as a service. But you don't have that much time. And I'm being very serious about it. You have to probably do more right now than you've ever done in your entire life in order to at least have a 10-step head start. Because if you don't have the resources and you don't have the skill set, when things go down, and they will, you better be prepared to compete with the sharks. I have to do another video on that because many people are not ready for that. You know, everybody likes putting pictures of lions and wolves, and it's like, most people have never really met a shark, okay? Like, to put it nicely, you guys, most entrepreneurs have never really came up against somebody that's on the top 1% of the 1% when it comes to skill set, because they've never even been in the same room. But guess what? When those individuals have no options and they don't have jobs, they're going to turn themselves into entrepreneurs. And then you're really going to see what it's like to compete with sharks. And most people, they're going to go back to that goldfish bowl because they're not going to be able to handle it. All right. So this is not a happy video. There is no nice way, happy way to end this on a positive note. This is a moment of awareness of what you really have to do to prepare yourself so that you don't get left behind, so that you do understand what's going on, so that when things happen, it's not a shock to you, it's not a surprise. Then you can say, okay, well, at least I was aware of the issue and I did my best in order to prepare for it. This is bad news, but it is what it is. Hope it helps in some way.